Today we find out who makes the final Steelers roster. But maybe the roster isn't as final as we think. Big Deke news. So we all know today is the 53-man roster cut deadline for the NFL, and it's at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I thought for today's show, instead of going over again who's in and who's out for this Steelers roster, because we already know who's on the bubble, right? It's Braden Fehoko, Armon Watts, James Pierre, Elijah Riley, Trey Norwood, Spencer Anderson, Kendrick Green, Gunner, Miles Boykin, you could probably throw in there too. Like, we've already talked about that. I already did my 53-man roster projection video a few days ago, which I already have a couple picks wrong on that front, or at least one pick wrong in Tanner Muse. Instead of going over that again, I thought it'd be more interesting to talk about players that are around the league that have already been cut or potentially may get cut that the Steelers might be interested in, because that could definitely shake things up a little bit if there are big names out there and the Steelers think that they could add value to the squad. So there's like 3 or 4 names off the top of my head, and a couple of them I already mentioned before, so I'll go over them first. Eli Ricks from the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a guy I would have liked the Steelers to pick up on draft day in the 7th round because he was still available. But then he eventually became undrafted. Eagles got him as an undrafted free agent. I just think he has a lot of upside, man. A lot of people viewed him as a 3rd or 4th round pick, but then, just fell out of the graces of NFL teams and became an undrafted free agent. And apparently, according to some Eagles reports, Ricks has actually outperformed another SEC rookie corner on the Eagles in Kelee Ringo throughout training camp and preseason. But Ringo was a 4th round pick, so I don't think the Eagles are going to let him go. That's like 5 corners right there when you say Ringo, Slay, Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, and then Josh Jobe. That's 5 guys the Eagles are going to be keeping. So if they don't keep 6, Eli Ricks might be on the chopping block, and I wouldn't mind the Steelers to take a flyer on him. Another name I've been bringing up is Israel Abanikanda. He's a running back for the New York Jets, and that room is just way too busy. They brought in Dalvin Cook. They already have Breece Hall, who is on pace to potentially win Rookie of the Year last year if he didn't get that torn ACL. Michael Carter's in that room. So if the Jets are only going to keep 3 running backs, Abanikanda might find himself on the outside looking in, which is great for a team that's looking for a running back, because I think Abanikanda is the real deal. Obviously, he was a Pitt running back. Went off in his last year with the Panthers. I think like 20 total touchdowns or something like that. Crazy productive. Like, he was legitimately a top 5 running back in college football last year. I can't believe he fell to like the 4th or 5th round, but that is the current state of the running back market as well. Like, no joke, I think if he was given starters minutes this year, he would go off for 1,000 yards easy. Almost like a good comparison would be Dameon Pierce with the Texans last year. He was a late round pick, but was given the opportunity to be the Texans starting back and made the most of it. I think it'd be the same way for Abanikanda if he got on a team and was able to take on a starter's role. But a lot of teams do have their running backs in place, so I think if he did get picked up somewhere, it would be like a 3rd RB. And for the Steelers, no question, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd bring in Abanikanda, and then I would cut McFarland. I just think Abanikanda is the better running back. There's like no question in my mind. So does that happen? Who knows? We got to see what the Jets do. And then I don't know if the Steelers would go that far to make that move, because I think they have gotten a little bit more comfortable with McFarland, and he's had a good training camp. He's had a good preseason in his own right. But again, I just think Abanikanda is hands down the better back, and we got that pick connection with him and Kenny Pickett. I think it would be a good move to make. The other name, and this guy is already out there because the Texans just cut him yesterday, is cornerback / safety Desmond King. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When his name first popped up as a potential target for the Steelers, I was like, man, there's got to be a reason this guy's been available over these last like 2-3 years, whether you're talking trade or in free agency, right? Like, is something off here? It's almost like Brandon Cooks. He's been on like however many teams and however many years, and you're just wondering, why is that the case? But yet Brandon Cooks still produces. So I don't know if there's a catch or not, but I'm looking at Desmond King. He is a 6-year veteran in the league, came in 2017, played with the Chargers, got traded to the Titans in 2020, spent the last 2 years with the Texans. But it seems like dude is productive. Was an all-pro back in his sophomore year, 2018, but I think that was more for special teams and being a return man. 2021 and 2022 with the Texans had a total of 5 interceptions, 93 tackles in 2021, 89 tackles in 2022. According to Tyler Wise on Twitter, his snap breakdown from last year with the Texans was 334 snaps in the slot, 505 on the outside. 28 years old, and his last season with the Texans was a 73.2 overall grade by PFF. So obviously, King has been a good player throughout his NFL tenure, and it's not like he's lost it because he's been doing good things recently. It's just that the Texans made the decision to let him go. So I was just wondering, like, what's up with that? Like, I mean, dude's still 28. Seems like he was still productive for the team. There's got to be a catch, right? But based off some articles I was reading, based off some Houston Texans fans' reaction on this, they just think the Texans are making a mistake on this one. It's probably they're more in this rebuild mode and want to get the younger players out there, but King can still play. I think it's just difference of what the organization is looking for and the direction they're looking for and just the player that King is at this stage of his career and being a veteran. But that leaves the option open for the Steelers to potentially bring him in. And, yeah, I mean, why not? The dude is versatile, can play slot corner, would maybe be an upgrade over Chandon Sullivan. And then you also have Elijah Riley, who's getting talked about potentially making the team. And we like his versatility and whatnot, but Desmond King brings that same versatility, but is proven. Like, is a much better player than what Elijah Riley has ever proven to be. And Desmond King can play some outside corner as well. So not only can he do slot safety, he can do outside. Elijah Riley can do slot safety, special teams. Desmond King can do special teams as well. So this seems like a move that would make too much sense in a way. So yeah, I think that's definitely a name to be looking out for. And then the other two that I mentioned, those are more like my personal picks, Eli Ricks and Israel Abanikanda. I'm not thinking that they're going to happen, but if either of them get released, you know I'm going to be the first pounding the table for Omar Khan and the Steelers to try to bring those guys in. But let me know some other free agent targets or potential cut targets you think the Steelers should be interested in when this deadline hits at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, I will actually be live for the roster cut deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, over on Bleacher Report, giving my instant reaction to the Steelers squad. The snubs, who I think deserved to make it, who didn't. So you guys stop through, chop it up with me in the chat. Let me know your reaction. And yeah, I'll drop the link in the description here or in the comments, and then also on Twitter, Instagram, whatnot. I'll let you know where to find me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Big Deke News. Stay chilling on a Tuesday, and peace.